Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the CBL X's and O's podcast for season 2023. Beck McIntyre joining me again today as we sit down and review what was round 13 in the Southwest Conference, and a little bit of an upset game, potentially, we'd call it, in the women's side of things. And, the men's is as tight as it can get.
Yes, it's all it takes a little bit of time, a piece of paper and a pen to work out who or what or where or any of this can all happen. So I'm sure there's lots of people out there, lots of coaches from all teams in both men's and women's that have sat down and worked out all the different types of options that could happen and where they could sit if this happens and what happens if they win 2 or 1. So, we've predicted this the whole way along, haven't we? How close this ladder was going to be coming into the last round. Last couple of rounds, I should say.
Let's start with Saturday night in the men when Portland took on Hamilton, and Nathan Hardingham is hitting his form at the right end of the season, shooting 24 points for the Coasters.
Yes, and they'll need him to be, in exceptional form that he has shown all season for the next weekend as they, go to finish their last 2 games and have 2 vital wins for them to ensure a final spot.
And then the other game, Horsham travelled to Terang to take on the Tornadoes, and obviously Riley Hutchins did all he could for the Tornadoes, shooting 30 points, but it just wasn't enough to get the Tornadoes over the line, and Horsham got the victory.
Yeah, and look, I think after talking to Scotty, the Horsham coach, I was not unable to be there at the game in person, but from all accounts, it was an amazing game, very quiet, physical. I think Terang shot the lights out of it, 15 threes for the game, which happened the last time they were there too. So I think that it tends to be a little thing that if you're going to shoot threes well, it's always against Horsham. But yeah, just they were able to hang on in the end, and led by a couple of their young guys, Cody Bryan, I think, and Matt Brown stepped up, and they ended up coming out with a good win.
And Colac travelled down to Warrnambool to take on the Seahawks at the Arc, and Warrnambool have ticked another box. They've got another win, which gets them that little bit closer to potentially having a top 4 finish.
Yeah, it's all very tight. I think Warrnambool only has the 1 game for the left to go. So that's against Horsham on Saturday night. So we'll actually look at that, obviously, with the preview later in the week. But they probably need to have a bit of an upset there and come out with a win, I think, if they do hope to make that 4th spot. But it's going to be touch and go, I think, for that one.
And Mount Gambier travelled across to Millicent to take on the Magic in the battle of our SA teams. And Mount Gambier were able to show why they are at the top of the table, taking out the victory by about 11 points. Simon Berkefeld, 28 points. He's continuing to shine for the Lakers this season.
Yeah, look, and that's a really good win for Mount Gambier. I don't think it probably necessarily makes too much of a difference to their ladder position because it looks like, with another win, they're probably going to cement that top spot. But it could have been, a really big upset win for Millicent. They probably really needed to get that one over the line just to help themselves with that potential 3-way tie that we're maybe going to see for 3rd and 4th position in the men's.
And then Sunday, Terang took on the Hamilton Hurricanes and were able to change things up a little and get the win on Sunday. And Justin Wallace this time, he shot 15 points Saturday night. Sunday, he shot 30 and carried the Tornadoes across the line to ensure they got their 6th win of the season.
Yeah, look, they've just got such great shooters, Terang, and I've always said that they were just that couple of games off, jumping into this 4. I mean, having a look at the game, Scott Judd's hit 7 3-pointers for 21 points. So that's a pretty impressive game to come on the court and just only shoot threes. They've hit another 17 threes for the game in that game. So, 15 or 16 the night before against Horsham, 17. So, Terang have just been such a great shooting team and consistently shooting well all year. So, look, if they keep their team together, like we've said about Hamilton, it'll be exciting to see where they end up next year. A lot of these guys in both teams are young. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen in the future for both of those teams.
And the last game of the men, Millicent turned it around on Sunday when they took on Ararat to run out just under 20-point victors on their home court, which would have been great considering they got the L the night before.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like they didn't have that many in their roster either. I think a couple of their bigger boys aren't there. I think we've kind of had a look at the fixture, and they're probably, I think they both made the under 20s SA team. So with the fact that there's only 3 weeks to nationals, I'd imagine that they're probably in training camp. So hence why you haven't seen both those stars in the Millicent team for the last couple of weeks. So I think that's potentially probably impacted their whole team setup, considering they were both averaging over 20 points a game. So with that said, though, they've managed to come out and have a good win, and some of the other boys have stepped up. Ararat have had Fletcher Berger and a couple of their guys shooting well again, but it ended up giving them just another chance of a hope, because if they had lost that one, I think that would have nearly put them out the back door.
That's it. Now let's take a look at this all-important ladder coming into round 14 during the week. Horsham, Mount Gambier both sitting up top, first and second, 11-3 record. Now, both these teams have locked in a finals place. Just can't tell you yet whether it's first and second, third or fourth. It's all going to come down to games in round 14. So them two teams are locked into finals. Portland, Millicent, Warrnambool all sit on third, fourth, and fifth. Portland Millicent have 9-5 record. Warrnambool have that extra game being 9-6. Warrnambool really need the win next weekend to give them chance and opportunity of making the top four, and they're going to rely on Portland and Millicent to have a couple of losses as well. So keep your eyes peeled for how that is all going to finish next round. Terang's next, 6 and 7, Colac 5 and 10, Ararat 2 and 10, and Hamilton round out the bottom of the ladder with a 1-14 record. And it's great to see Hamilton at least have that one win in the win column this season for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, there could potentially, I mean, if Millicent and Warrnambool both win like they need to, then you've potentially got Horsham, Portland win both their games, Millicent on a 3-way tie with 11 wins if Horsham loses both of theirs, which I can tell you they probably won't. They'll definitely be winning, if not two, at least one of them. But, you look at all possibilities, and, then you're going to have potentially Warrnambool just drop out even with a win in tenths, like with only 10 wins, but then everyone else will be on 11. So it's just so insanely close. So many different scenarios that could happen to what's going to happen. But yeah, we'll get a really, really good, interesting look next week when we have a look to see what's happened.
And let's have a look at the women. The Warrnambool Mermaids really stamped their authority on the competition on Saturday night when they took on the Colac Cookers running out. That's 50-point victors over the young and upcoming Cookers, let's call them.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And we've talked about Colac a lot this season. It's just really great for them to have their team back up and running. And, we really want to try and work on building the whole female Southwest program, and getting Terang back with their team, and, getting Hamilton up with the women's team. Like if we can start to get some of those towns working on building their programs, then, it really starts to become quite a comprehensive league again with, 8 or 9 teams similar to the men. So, Colac, hopefully they stick together and keep wanting to play, and they've enjoyed their first, go at really coming back into this. I know that they've still got a game this week, and everyone's still basically got one game left, and then Horsham's still got 2 to go. So again, Warrnambool has definitely stamped out, I think, probably as the leaders in the competition. They're definitely, got the best results. They shoot really well. They're very well drilled, and they just play a really good team basketball. So it'll be exciting to see what's going to happen after this weekend. We've got them coming to Horsham. So, So anyway, we'll see how that goes.
And in our last game in the women, Mount Gambier travelled to Millicent to take on the Magic, and Mount Gambier Lakers walk in and steal 2 wins in Millicent. That is unbelievable. I don't think that would happen every time they go in there. So, the Lakers have got to be happy after getting 2 wins, both men and women, on Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just about pretty well set them up potentially. If Millicent can't get over the line against us on Sunday, then that win is single-handedly just about going to put them into the finals. So that would have been a massive, massive upset, I can imagine, especially there in Millicent. It was, wasn't it? Was that Millicent? At their stadium, everyone would have been rocking on Saturday night. So I can imagine the atmosphere in that game would have been pretty good. But look, they've run out and actually nearly, they won by 16 points. So pretty comprehensive in the end. And look like they had probably a couple more than what they normally do. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 9 players, 8 players. So yeah, look, they're potentially just starting to pick up their straps heading into what might be a pretty interesting end of the season.
That's it. Let's take a look at the ladder now. And we've got Warrnambool on top. One game still to go with a 7-2 record. They win this week, they lock in top spot. Portland sitting second with a 7-3 record. And now they've locked into a top 2 finish as well. No other teams below them can get in front of either of them 2 teams. We then got Horsham sitting in third at the moment with a 4-4 record, 2 games to play this weekend. Millicent, Mount Gambier both sit 4th and 5th with 4-4, 4-5 records, and Colac sit down the bottom with a 1-8 record. And it's this weekend, it's going to be a battle between Horsham, Millicent, and Mount Gambier on who's going to lock in the last 2 positions in the women's finals this upcoming season.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And it pretty well sits pretty straightforward for most teams. But for my team, it is win none and don't play finals, and win one and potentially you will lock yourself a final spot. So we're going to have a tough ask against Warrnambool, but yeah, we'll be looking to hopefully have a win on Sunday against Millicent and cement that final spot. But anyway, anything can happen, as we know. So we'll look forward to seeing the teams travel over and what can turn out this weekend.
That's it. That's our round 13 review in the Southwest Conference. And I'll jump on a call with you later this week when we preview what is going to be a big, spectacular, tightly contested round 14 in the Southwest Conference. So everyone out there, stay tuned, because when we preview this round, it is going to be epic.